Do you believe that you can heal yourself? Too often we give our power away to something outside of ourselves, and rarely, if ever, trust and tap into our innate healing power and intuition. Everyone has this capability to heal in ways we never thought possible. It's your sovereign right to claim and have true health and lasting wellness. Now, here is the host of the Dr. Dolores Show, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our wonderful world. And welcome to our episode today on the Dr. Dolores Show. And I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And you're listening to us on the Inspired Choices Network. You know, I decided that for the next several episodes, I'm going to do a series called Becoming Your Own Best Friend, because I have felt that many of us are really good at treating a stranger better than we treat ourselves. And I divided up the 5-part series into different segments. And, you know, today I think we're going to touch on authenticity. And it's about unveiling authenticity to invite you to embrace your true self, shedding societal expectations. And in preparation for our talk today, I kind of did a little bit of research and you know, I sat with authenticity as well. And, you know, it seems like we're in a world where we're really wanting to embrace being real and true and very transparent, yet there's still that area of gray where we struggle with. And I'm hoping that after today, we'll get to some more insights as to how to take a deeper dive. I also, you know, look forward to, you know, in our segment to do a brief meditation that's going to assist you to look at your authenticity as well. So, you know, let's start with so what is authenticity? And authenticity refers to being true to oneself, expressing one's beliefs, values, and emotions in a genuine and sincere manner. It involves living in alignment with one's core identity rather than conforming to the external pressures of societal norms. And let's face it, there's a lot going on in our world right now. And I'll give you the visual on this because this is what I see. It's like you're in a washing machine and you're on the spin cycle, and all this stuff is flying around you. And it's, you know, it could be societal stuff, it could be our ancestral stuff, it could be our own deep-seated core issues that are acting up and reflecting out to us. It's really an energetic mayhem, really. So with that, you know, let's segue into like societal expectations. A lot of times our society has this imposes what you should be doing or not doing. And I want to add to that, who made up that rule? Seriously, it's just like when society projects onto us what and how we should be behaving, sometimes we might feel pressure to conform, and it leads people to suppress aspects of their true selves in favor of fitting in and meeting societal standards. Because let's face it, a lot of us want to fit in. We want to be loved, valued, and appreciated by everybody. But I have news for you. Newsflash, not everybody's going to like you. And you know what? It's okay. It's about allowing yourself to be as you are and show up in all your glory just as you are, and being okay with the fact that, you know, I might not be somebody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And not thinking that that is the only person out there and it's the majority of people. There's going to be people who love you and some people who not so much like you. So it's about just allowing yourself the acceptance of what it is. And I love the saying, it is what it is. You know, it's not a zebra. We're not going to look for a zebra or try to make something out of nothing. It's just, it is what it is. The other thing, it's the mask that we wear. A lot of times we show up as chameleons trying to fit in and mold ourselves. And many people wear metaphorical masks to conceal their true selves and conform to societal expectations. These marks or these masks may be presenting a persona that is more socially acceptable or suppressing certain emotions, desires to avoid judgment or rejection. How many of us wear a mask so we try to fit into society instead of just showing up in all your glory? Maybe you've been told that you're just too much. Well, many of us are. If we are walking in our truth and being who we are, it could be overwhelming to people who are not that way, and it can be too much as their experience. And it has nothing to do with you, it's on them basically. But please don't turn this into something that you need to fix in order to fit in and be part of society. And we're going to talk more about that because I think the masks that we wear really needs to take a deep dive, and that's where we're going to go with the remainder of our segment. But I just want to touch on some other things. Sometimes there's an internal conflict between what we are and what society deems we should be. And it's like we have a lot of anxiety and we aren't being true to ourselves, and so we become inauthentic. So some of the benefits of authenticity, there's numerous. It's about self-awareness and self-acceptance and self-esteem. Those three selves are really important because they lay a foundational piece to be able to, for each of us to acknowledge who we are, embrace who we are, and allow ourselves to be who we are. Authenticity and mental health. Studies have shown that authenticity is linked to mental well-being. When individuals authentically show up authentically, they experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Authenticity fosters a sense of inner peace and emotional resilience, enabling individuals to navigate life's challenges more effectively. And, I think when we are authentic in ourselves, it's like you don't have to hide who you are. You don't have to do a background check on people because they're appearing one way and you kind of have that sixth sense that something is off and you just don't know what it is. Trust that. In your world, you want people to show up authentically, but we have been in a world where we don't know what's real or what's Memorex, what's AI and what's the real deal. So we're really big into discerning right now as to um, allowing ourselves to see what is the real deal and what is not. So overcoming fear and judgment. Fear of judgment or rejection often prevents you from embracing your authenticity. And you know what? Many of us were raised in highly critical households where you were judged and criticized for everything. No wonder why many of us have a lot of issues surrounding that, because this is what we were surrounded by. And it's always about doing the right thing or being shamed or humiliated or humiliating your parents. I just remember a dialogue one time that my mom had with me, and she said, "Don't embarrass me." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just being myself, but don't embarrass me. So she felt that what I was doing was an embarrassment. So it's almost like she was projecting her feelings about that onto me, that maybe she was ashamed of me. So it's kind of interesting when you kind of look back at your life and how things have been kind of manifesting, if you want to call it, for lack of a better reason, and how that has laid the foundation for what you're experiencing today. So some examples of authenticity. can be found in individuals who have defied societal expectations and embraced their true selves. These individuals serve as role models, demonstrating courage and resilience, and required to live authentically despite societal pressures. And it comes to mind with that. We witness people who've had some amazing, amazing experiences and demonstrations of resilience. And I remember, I don't remember this gentleman's name, but he was a motivational speaker and he had no limbs. It was just a torso. He had no arms, no legs, and he was up on stage presenting and being a motivational speaker. And what an inspiration, because everything that he had to experience, the resilience and all the pressures and all the judgments and criticisms that he probably experienced in his life, and all the obstacles that he had to surmount to get to where he was, to me, that's incredible. And that's a true definition of authenticity. So, let's talk about the mask that we wear, because, I think that is the biggest thing that is in our society right now. We all put on masks. It's like we talked a little bit about that. It's about trying to fit in, trying to be liked, trying to be, accepted and thought well of. It's almost like we're looking outside of ourselves for our validation. So that's something to look at. And, I invite people just to sit with that, because when we're able to look deep within ourselves, sometimes you could get those really deep gold nuggets that are just those subtleties that hit you and you realize, oh my God, this, whatever this is, I could just feel the shift. And it's such a slight shift in your comprehension, but it's a massive shift that ripples out. Case intact, this was interesting because on my way to I still work in the healthcare industry, and I call it my joy of being, my job. I was driving in and I was just sitting with everything that's kind of happened for me in the last several weeks. And, I know we are going through a massive eclipse season right now. And we just had this big solar eclipse that traversed across the United States. And that's where I reside, in the United States. And for me, there was a lot that came up and it kind of stirred my inner aspects, and I really didn't know what this was all about. And this had been brewing for several weeks. And so sitting with that, I just trusted that whatever this was, I needed to sit with it. And when I was able to get to where I was going with my job yesterday, I got this huge epiphany about something that happened actually when I was being born. Okay. I don't know how I remembered this, but I did. And I just felt this whole big thing, because I felt myself just holding my breath. And how many of us hold our breaths without even being aware of it? But I was doing that, and I got the flashback as I was trying to be birthed into this lifetime. I was holding my breath and struggling to be born. And I was just like, oh my God, I get it. So it's not about holding your breath and struggling. It's about taking a deep breath and allowing yourself to really feel and be in your body. Because sometimes when we take a shallow breath, we pop out of our body. And for me, probably being born, I was just popping out of my body because it was just so painful going through that process. So I wasn't breathing, I was holding my breath. So I embrace you to take a deep breath, be in your body, allow yourself to be that authentic person that you are. When we are working on taking off our mask and being, I want to say maskless, it's just like being raw and vulnerable, but without putting on a facade of who we think we should be, instead of allowing us to be who we are. it's so empowering and it's so calming and it's so serene. I think too often we just feel like we can't be ourselves. And I invite you to change that. You can be yourself. You can step into your power and you could do it with all your glory. So we're going to be heading off to a break right now. But when we come back, we're going to talk more about unmasking ourselves so we could be truly authentic within yourself. And you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we will see you when we come back.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We've been talking about authenticity and becoming your own best friend. It's a self-discovery series that's going to be happening over the next probably 4 other episodes of the Dr. Dolores Show. So I'm excited to bring that to you because I feel that becoming your own best friend is so important. And we're talking about authenticity today. And I really wanted to delve into the masks that we wear and how we could shift that and become more comfortable with who we are and our true authentic self. So before break, we were talking about some of the things that we do to prevent ourselves from showing up in all our glory and all our sovereign presence, if you want to call that. And, you know, a lot of it is just fear of rejection and desire for acceptance and, you know, protecting ourselves. All of it has to do with the external part of us. Okay. This is about, you know, worrying about what other people think, giving your power away to something outside of yourself, which isn't even your stuff, basically. Or, you know, a lot of times people really don't care. You know, I'm going to be brilliantly honest with you. It's like we make up these stories in our head that, oh gosh, you know, it's just like, well, how am I going to, you know, what are the neighbors going to say? Or how is this person going to respond to this? It's just like, you know what? They really don't care. We make up these stories and we, you know, in our mind that of how these situations when in fact it's not reality at all. And in our minds and in reality too, sometimes we give that power away to ourselves, that power of who we are, and allowing ourselves to be morphed into something that we're not, or we pretend we're a chameleon and we change to whatever's happening and morph into what's happening in our society so we could be loved, appreciated, and valued. Because sometimes we don't feel that within ourselves. We're looking outside of ourselves for that validation. So when, some of the masks that we wear, our protective mechanism, we feel like the loss of authenticity. However, wearing a mask comes at a cost. Sometimes, you know, it's a protective mechanism shielding individuals from vulnerability and emotional pain. But by presenting a facade, it conforms to societal norms, and people may feel they can avoid rejection, ridicule, and disappointment. And, some of the, important things to remember is that being authentic is really being who you are at a soul's level. And sometimes we may not know what that is because we've lived in this world where we have been told to conform to society and fit in and don't make waves, and it's like a way of controlling you so you can't be who you are. So think about that and just let that land for a second, because that doesn't feel so good. It feels really confining. It feels really small. And are you really wanting to play small and show up small in your world? Something to consider. When you are wearing a mask, and it can have a lot of psychological consequences, leading to feels of disconnection, alienation, and inner turmoil. Over time, the strain of making a false persona can contribute to stress, anxiety, and even depression. Because you know what? You're not being your true authentic self. Part of you knows this, yet you are choosing consciously or unconsciously not to um, tap into that and allow yourself to experience who you are. So how do we break free? Despite the challenges, it is possible for individuals to break free from masks they wear and embrace their true selves. This process often involves self-awareness, self-acceptance, and the courage to challenge societal norms and expectations. It's about embracing your inner rebel. Now, I know that's a little extreme for some people, especially many listeners who may be a little on the timid side and are shy, or they are, this is new, this is a whole new concept for them. It's about embracing yourself and taking baby steps, little steps, and not feeling guilty or ashamed or embarrassed for sticking up for yourself, and more like stepping into being your own advocate. It's like, showing up for you instead of showing up for something outside of you that isn't you, that you think is you. Now that's a little interesting. So when you're journeying to authenticity, we're embracing authenticity as a journey that requires introspection, self-discovery, and vulnerability. It involves peeling away the layers of societal conditioning and rediscovering the core essence of who we are beneath the masks we wear. So when we are starting to peel away our masks, the things to remember, the most important things to remember, and I want to talk about 3 takeaways for this. Being aware of societal conditioning. Really recognize the influence where society has, and it has had an impact on you. And I don't feel that this would be a very difficult thing to do because it's prevalent everywhere. And some of the things that we just take for granted that may not be are. It's about understanding how societal conditioning shapes our perceptions and actions. And this is like the first step to really sitting with that and being aware. You don't know what you know until you know it. Okay. So when we sit in self-reflection, you're able to, question that and just ask the question, how come, just for an example, why is it that I need to do this in order, this particular thing to fit into society? I need to, maybe brush my teeth and comb my hair and not leave the house in a hot mess. Who made that rule up? If you're not feeling it, don't do it. It's just like, be yourself. And it's just like, who cares what the neighbors think? They just, they probably wish that they could be true to themselves. It's not about showing up as a Stepford wife. That's what's coming to mind right now, where everything is like regimented and everybody's the same and marching through, and it's like you've given up your identity. So please, please, please. Every mom said, that's true, Christine. Every mom said, what will the neighbors think? You know what? They probably didn't even care. They were so busy worrying about what everybody else was thinking that they didn't care. Anyway, the other thing is to embrace your vulnerability. And by embracing your embracing vulnerability and authenticity, it's essential to your personal growth and fulfillment. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and authentic, we cultivate deeper connections with others and experience greater satisfaction and meaning in our lives. And we also create, not only create authentic relationships with others, we create an authentic relationship with ourselves, because who we are and how we display it are in alignment. It's not like who you are on the inside is this big, powerful person, and then you show up in the world like this meek thing that kind of is a chameleon. Do you see how the disconnect is there? Energetically, you're I want to say playing small, dumbing yourself down to fit in, so your essence isn't allowed to be as big and expansive as it is. I think one of the important things to remember is to, step outside your comfort zone with this. Challenge your expectations. If you're finding that you feel a certain way within yourself, but you're showing up something completely different in a different way, just fit in, I invite you to challenge yourself to take baby steps to start showing up more as who you are. And yes, people are going to possibly react to that. And guess what? That's okay. You are being who you are. Don't dim your light to fit into somebody else's expectations of who you should be. Something to think about. Where are you playing small in your life? Time to take off that mask and show up in all your glory, because we need you and who you are to be 100% where we're going in our lovely world. It's time, people. Take those masks off and show up. Courage to challenge expectations, like I was just saying. Breaking free from the masks we wear requires self-awareness, self-acceptance, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones. However, the rewards of living authentically are profound and can lead to more genuine and a fulfilling existence. So by all means, challenge yourself. Do something different. And if you have that talk that goes on in your head, well, if I do this, blah, 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 blah. All right, time to stop that. Say, thank you for your input, and we're going to do something different. So notice that when that happens, you pop out of your body and in present time. So it's about luring yourself back into your physical body. So don't hold your breath. Take a deep breath. Step into what is next for you. So we're going on our next break. And when we come back, we're going to do a little guided meditation to help you ground yourself into being more authentic. And you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we're on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we come back, we'll talk more about our discovery series of becoming your own best friend and authenticity. See you when we come back.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we're talking about authenticity today. And this is part one of our 5-part series on becoming your own best friend. And over the next several weeks, we'll be talking about a different topic. And these are foundational pieces that are going to allow you to create a more authentic and real and genuine relationship with yourself. So before the break, we were talking about the masks that we all wear in order to not showing up in our true authentic self, and how we use these masks in ways to fit in and, not really show up and show our true soul's essence. So in this segment, as I promised earlier, we're going to do a short meditation to allow you to help you and allow you to embrace your true essence. So if that's something you'd love to do, I invite you to participate. So just a little forewarning, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes and do this. Either stop your car and move someplace else where you're in a safe environment, or do this when you get home and re-listen to this. So right now, I just invite you to find a quiet and comfortable space where you can sit down or lie down without distractions. I invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And take one more deep breath in and slowly exhale. And as you're bringing your awareness to your breath, just allow it to return to its normal inhale and exhale patterning. And know that with every inhale that you make and exhale that you take, that you're going to become more and more grounded in your physical body. And as you continue to breathe, I invite you to visualize a warm golden light surrounding you. This light represents your true essence, your authentic self. With each breath, imagine this golden light expanding within you, filling every corner of your being with a sense of love, acceptance, and authenticity. Now reflect on any societal expectations or pressures that may be weighing on you. Acknowledge them without judgment, but also recognize that they do not define you. As you breathe in, imagine yourself releasing these external expectations, letting go of any masks or facades you may have been wearing to conform. And just imagine them just like a balloon with a long string, a helium balloon that when you let go of the string, they just all go into the universe. With each exhale, affirm to yourself, I embrace my true essence. I am worthy of love and acceptance just as I am. I embrace my true essence. I am worthy of love and acceptance just as I am. I embrace my true essence. I am worthy of love and acceptance just as I am. Allow yourself to bask in the warmth and radiance of your true essence. Feel a sense of peace and contentment wash over you as you connect with your authentic self. Take a few more deep breaths, gently bringing your awareness back to the present moment. When you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. Carry this sense of authenticity and self-acceptance with you as you go about your day, knowing that you are worthy of embracing your true essence and living authentically. So welcome back. You probably feel more calm and grounded and serene. These are all good things. This is the essence of who you are. So just remember that this meditation is a tool to help connect you with your true self, and just go back and listen to it as a reminder to connect with who you are and allow that essence to radiate out through you. So now that everybody's very centered and calm, we're going to talk some more about some of the things that we can do to embrace our authenticity and create a more meaningful and rich life with the focus of more self-awareness. Because really what it's all about is just being aware. When you become self-aware, you can't go back to being asleep. It's like things have moved from the unconscious level to the conscious level. When you're self-aware, this is where you have choices and you could choose something different. Yes, you could stay the way you were, or you could move and do something different. It's like you're no longer functioning on automatic unconsciously. You could function on automatically consciously then. But the thing is, if this is something that you want to shift, this is how you could shift it. By being aware, you can make a different choice. So self-reflection is key. Take time to reflect on your values, beliefs, and aspirations. Consider what truly matters to you and what brings you joy and fulfillment. Journaling is a great way to and helpful tool for this process. And I think one of the most effective ways to journal for some people who feel like it's a chore is when you get your piece of paper, date it, and just say, show me my next steps. And just allow yourself to do automatic writing. Or if something's up for you, write about it, journal about it, because a lot of times you'll get these, what I call epiphanies and automatic aha moments that, oh my gosh, it's just like, it's that simple. And sometimes when you are writing and journaling, you're in the present moment right here, right now. Identify your authentic self. Explore who you are beneath the societal expectations, roles, and external influences. Many of us have been slapped on with all these different and other people's beliefs of who you are and who you should be. And I'm going to call baloney on that, because that's like all projections of other people's ideologies that maybe we have unconsciously taken on as our truth. And that's the unconscious dance that happens. But now that we're aware, you could see how these projections have really shaped you, and how you have, maybe through having to survive your childhood or survive your life, had to take those on. Now that you can make a mindful, conscious decision, you could shift that. Set intentions, clarify your intentions for living authentically and creating a meaningful life. And what do you want to prioritize? What kind of person do you want to be? And setting clear intentions. It's about showing up the way that you want to show up. Align actions with values. And what that means is your actions align with your values and intentions. This might involve making changes in various areas of your life, such as relationships, careers, hobbies, and habits. So, my rule of thumb for that is that people, when we talk about relationships, people are in our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. If you're around somebody and you feel like there's nothing in common anymore, and you energetically are not aligned anymore, it's okay to walk away. And it's not about you being a bad person. It's like whatever wisdom or knowledge or education that you needed to have by having a connection with them has been learned, and it's time to move on to your next adventure and your next experience. And it's not about throwing away people and experiences. It's about, sometimes we outlive things and we still are hanging on, but energetically it keeps us stuck. So I invite you to look at those situations in your life. Practice mindfulness, cultivate mindfulness and the ability to be more present in the moment, because the present moment is all that matters. So when you are doing mindful activities, you lose all sense of time and place. It's like time stands still. Hours could go by and you're like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? Embrace your vulnerability. Allow yourself to experience whatever you're experiencing without projecting it onto other people. That's the key. Feel what you're feeling, but don't beat yourself up or other people. Just experience what that is, witness it. Set boundaries. Boundaries are so, so, so important. And, energetic boundaries is a big thing on the Dr. Dolores show, because we're all energetic beings. And we need to really focus on having clear energetic boundaries so we know where we end and other people begin. It's, I call spiritual hygiene, for lack of a better description, because when we take care of our boundaries, we are doing self-care for ourselves as well. So we're getting ready to go on our next break. And when we return, we'll talk about more meaningful and rich ways to allow you to become more authentic in your life. So this is myself, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, and you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And when we come back, we'll wrap it up for this episode. See you when we come back.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. And we've been talking about authenticity and shifting off those masks that we carry that prevent us from being our true authentic self. And this is part of the Becoming Your Own Best Friend series that I've been wanting to introduce to the audience, because I think becoming your own best friend is such an essential necessity in our life, because we're better at being nicer to a stranger than we are to ourselves. So when we are able to tap into this week's episode on authenticity, we're learning how to take that mask off. So before the break, we were talking about some of the things that we could do to become more authentic and create more meaningful and rich lives for ourselves. And we talked about self-reflection, setting intentions, aligning with your values, practicing mindfulness, and embracing vulnerability and setting boundaries. And, I think another important thing is about seeking growth and learning and committing yourself to lifelong learning and personal growth. Because, like I've said before in other episodes on the Dr. Dolores Show, is that we are humans. We come here to Earth to get a PhD in learning how to be human. So by the time we leave this Earth and this existence, we have graduated with a doctorate in being a human being, because the Earth is a big university where we learn how to experience being a human being. And so self-improvement and self-growth should be a lifelong thing, and it's not a one and done. I always cracks me up when people say, well, I took that class, I'm good. Well, you know what? Yes and no. And we are so matrixed and interconnected in ways you never thought possible that we have themes and variations of core issues that we get to experience and get to explore and gain our gold nuggets and pieces for our dissertation for our doctorate in being human. So continue to learn and grow. You're not, and be, and just be teachable. I think that's the most important thing. Be humble enough to know that you don't know it all, and you're going to learn something new every single day, and you're going to witness miracles every single day because of what you learn. Cultivate gratitude. Cultivate a mindset of gratitude by focusing on the positive aspects of your life and expressing appreciation for the people, experiences, and opportunities that enrich your life. And we know by the law of attraction, the more you appreciate things, the more things you're going to come that are going to come into your life that you're going to be able to appreciate. So it's like a energetic tsunami, if you want to call it that. So just keep appreciating what is going on, even though sometimes you're like, you got to be kidding me. And just appreciate the fact that, okay, I get to have this experience and moving forward. Connect with others. We're in a big time of community and connections with others who support and uplift you on your journey towards authenticity. Surround yourself with people who accept you for who you are and encourage your growth. not the people who you have to fit into a mold to be with. They are not your peeps, folks. Be your true authentic self. Remember, authenticity is a journey, not a destination, and it's okay to stumble along the way. As long as you continue to learn, grow from your experiences, you will have an enriched life. So, just to recap, self-reflection is the foundation of the journey towards authenticity. Okay? Take time to do that and deeply reflect on your values, beliefs, and aspirations so you can gain clarity about who you are and what truly matters to you. Align your actions and values, very important. Walk your talk. Show up as who you truly are in all your glory, and allow yourself to align with those relationships, career, and hobbies that ensurely reflect your authentic self. And if they're not, it's something to ponder on and shift. Practice mindfulness and cultivate mindfulness, and helps you to become more present and aware of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So as we wrap up here, we're going to talk about next week's episode on the Dr. Dolores Show. So like I said, we started a series, Becoming Your Own Best Friend. And this week we talked about authenticity and about, unmasking ourselves. Next week, in Becoming Your Own Best Friend on our series of self-discovery, we're going to be cultivating compassion. Gotta put my dentures back in. Oops, sorry, I don't have any. So join us next week for episode 2 of our 5-part series on Becoming Your Own Best Friend, a self-discovery series. And we are drawing from a wealth of experience and expertise. And in this episode, we're encouraged to explore our own inner landscapes, recognizing the barriers that may hinder our self-kindness and forgiveness. Dr. Dolores, that's me, provides an actionable strategies for breaking free from self-criticism and embracing a mindset of self-love and acceptance. As this episode unfolds, participants are invited to embark on a journey of self-discovery, cultivating compassion as a cornerstone for their personal evolution, and also a cornerstone for learning how to love, value, and appreciate and respect ourselves. Having compassion is so important, and I think sometimes we minimize that. In this time and age of what humanity is experiencing, universally, being compassionate, particularly to ourselves, is so important and very underrated. Compassion is the ability to just allow ourselves to accept ourselves just as we are. And as a bridge with authenticity, it allows us to build upon who we are so that we could show up in our best form. So thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we're on the Inspired Choices Network. And just know that if you have questions about anything, please reach out to me at Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. And if you want somebody who could teach you or have a group that you want to be taught to, I love sharing experiences with people, and reach out to me. I would love to support your group in any way that I can. So signing off for now, and just remember this. We are on a journey, not a destination, and just be kind to yourself because you are worth it. Take care. Have a great week. Until then, love yourself. Be kind to yourself and just show up in all your grandeur and glory. Take care now.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. Dr. Dolores returns Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and create your best life. You are worth it.